Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Mental Health Impact Series show. Today is Season 2, Episode 28, and we're very excited because we have a very special guest with us. Before we bring her on, a few facts here. Did you know meditation can help reduce blood pressure and can improve your memory? Did you know psychologists have found that a breathing practice is effective in fighting anxiety, depression, and stress? Did you know your emotions change the way you breathe? Research has shown that our breath pattern can influence the emotions we experience. Without any further ado, let's bring on our very special guest today, Farah Rodriguez. She is a Tao Hands practitioner and a spiritual mentor. Hello, Farah. How are you?
Hello. I'm so excited to be here and to be sharing this moment with you and all those watching. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I know you're so busy. You have so much going on. We really appreciate you sharing some of your time with us today. And share the message. I'm very excited because Farah, you are a person that's full of knowledge. And what I absolutely adore about you is you're constantly looking to grow. You're open to more information and you listen to it with all your heart. You're so open-minded, and honestly, it's an honor to know you. I'm very excited for what the future holds for you.
Thank you.
So just for the audience to know, could you share a bit about your journey that has brought you here today?
Oh, yes, I would love that. And I just want to also say, Anshul, it's I just also want to give you the love back. It's always such a great honor to serve beside you. And I've had that honor a few times, and you're so incredible. And to call you my friend and family and, guide, it's such a gift. So thank you so much. So a little bit about myself. Whoa. Okay, let's see. So as Anshul said, I have for the last 10 years committed myself to development, to understanding myself, understanding where I feel stopped in my life, where I judge myself, where I criticize myself, where I don't feel good enough. And really my journey began with trying to fix these things. So I started to take a lot of self-development programs in order to fix my lack of self-confidence, in order to develop my leadership, in order to feel more confident, when I communicated. So this really was the beginning of me just really wanting to better myself and understand myself. And so I started the journey, taking different programs, really more focused on cognitive, really understanding the mind and how the mind functions and how it develops. And inside of its development, how it also creates barriers to how I experience life and how I interact with my life. So it's really going from reacting to life versus creating your life. So being at the reaction, at the effect of life. Someone yells at me, it affects me emotionally, and the whole day I'm like carrying this with me, versus creative. Someone yells and I'm like, oh, that's interesting that they yelled. I wonder why. And it's more of a creative experience in exploring that, right? So I really started, this was the beginning of my journey. And as it continued, I started to learn more about the physical body. I started to learn more about spirituality. And, my journey has been remarkable. And this is really where I'm at right now, is really integrating the soul, integrating spirituality with my interaction with life. And this is how I support others, is really understanding at the soul level as well what's going on. Okay, for those of us who do believe in that realm of life, is that, we're a soul here having a human experience and growing and exploring and evolving our soul. Yeah. And so this has led me to now studying the Tao, which is an ancient Chinese philosophy of life. which is extremely powerful and has made a great difference, significant difference in my life. And so now I'm what's called a Tao hands practitioner. And so I offer healing, transmissions, and really supporting people in shifting the negative information within their field into positive information. So what that means is, it's like those negative thoughts that just sort of circulate within the mind. It's just like automatic. So it's beginning to alter that, but at a soul level versus cognitively. And this works in the quantum field, which is exponentially faster than any of the other work that I've done. So that, and I would say that this is like a quick synopsis of my last 10 years.
Incredible, Farah. I remember when I connected with you when you came back here to Toronto, and you were telling me that, I'm a certified a Tao hands practitioner. And I remember like staring at you. I think you would call me on video call because I was so shocked. And I remember sharing this with you right away that every morning I play these lessons on YouTube about Taoism. And when you shared that with me, I was like, just literally looking around, I'm like, how is this happening? Like, is this for real? Like, how incredible is this? More people need to know about it. So if you don't mind me asking, Farah, could you really get into what the basic philosophies are and how people could benefit from just knowing about it?
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. What I love about this philosophy is the simplicity behind it. It's extremely simple, which I found, with other studies, with understanding the mind, with understanding cognitive forms of therapy, emotional forms of therapy. It was kind of complex. Like there were all these different structures and different ways and different processes to really understanding yourself and going through transformation. So in the Tao, one of the main things is they believe in what's called Shen, Qi, and Jing. Shen, Qi, and Jing. Okay. So Shen consists of your soul, your heart, and your mind. Okay. Sorry, I just shook the table. And Qi is energy. And then Jing is matter. So the physical manifestation around us, the table, the couch behind you, right? The chair that you sit under. This is the physical manifestation. So what they believe in the Tao is that everything carries an energy, everything. So it carries a certain frequency, right? The table, the phone, the computer, our clothes, the food that we eat. It's all these tiny little atoms like vibrating really fast, and they form certain things, right? With a certain kind of energy, it turns into a tomato, and then, it turns into a tree, and so forth. And so if we can understand that everything is energy, ultimately, like everything, we can understand that it carries a frequency, because this is how you measure energy. And with frequency, it carries information. So we are constantly receiving information all the time, right? Not just from what we're hearing, because we're hearing things on the TV, we're hearing things from our people, from our phones, but we're also receiving information from everything, from the food that we eat, the clothes that we wear, the plants around us. So everything carries information. And in the Tao, they believe it's either stored as positive information or negative information. And essentially what you want to do through your human experiences, you want to have more positive information. Because the more positive information you have, the more power and energy and vitality you have to create life, right? Versus negative information, which creates blockages, which creates stagnation. These would be also considered some of the mental blocks that start to accumulate, right? So it's a lot denser, and there's not much room to create here. We feel kind of trapped. And so as a human being, you go through experiences and you're constantly receiving information into your field. So you have a field, which we call your soul. Your soul is the house of the information. Okay, so it collects all this information from this lifetime, from past lifetimes. And basically what you want to do is transform this information. And so how this connects essentially all together with the Shen, Qi, and Jing, your soul is considered the container of the information. Your heart center is considered the message center. So this is how we receive information at the soul level, okay? Or all information for that matter. They've done scientific, they have scientific evidence now that shows that when you're receiving something, you receive it through the heart before it goes into your mind. It's like really cool. I'm going to share really quickly this little experiment.
Yes, please.
So they did, and I'm going to get the name of the movie. I can't remember it right now, but they did the science experiment. And Heart Math also is a great institution that talks about this. They had someone sit in front of a screen. The screen would go blank for 6 seconds and then show an image, and then go blank for 6 seconds and show another image. But the images were provocative, right? So they would provoke, it would be a scary image, like provoking fear, or it would be something beautiful and delightful, like a baby, right? So they would provoke emotions through these images. But they measured the heart and they measured the mind, the brain, and the heart would get triggered before the image would go onto the screen, which is really remarkable, like milliseconds before. But the heart would know, and they could measure that the heart would know when it was going to be something scary versus something delightful, something beautiful versus something dark, right? And so they now have scientific proof that backs a lot of this Tao philosophy. So going back, so the heart is the message center. This is what we call the message center. So we always want to clear negative information from the heart so we can listen and fine tune at the soul level what's happening. Then this information is processed through the processor, which is the mind, the brain. And then so this is the way you think, the way you process information. And the way you think then determines your energy. So the energy that you carry. And then energy now manifests itself into matter, into the Jing. So Shen, Qi, and Jing. So this is really such a simple concept. And it's really about understanding that when we come into this life, we have many experiences that cause heartbreak, disappointment, loss, pain, trauma. But all of these experiences also have a deeper lesson. They have a teaching that can allow us to ascend deeper at a soul level and evolve ourselves. And so really through this technology, it's really about quantum. Like it's really about your quantum field and transforming the information and using what you're discovering and learning to keep creating your life and transforming yourself. So this has been, once I've understood this, now there are techniques and practices that you go through to begin to keep clearing your field. And it's been remarkable. Like I've had things move financially, in relationships, in a way that it's been so effortless, because now my energy is a lot clearer. So it manifests things with so much ease. And it's just like, there's just an effortlessness to life, you know? And I'm like, this is really how we can live, you know? And so this has been my strong desire of bringing this work to as many people as I can. And it's the reason why I'm a practitioner now.
That's beautiful. I'm so proud of your journey, Farah. Like you embody honestly everything that I believe in, and this is just the beginning. I'm so excited for what the future holds for you.
Yes.
So you mentioned how you had 5 years of coaches, trainers, teachers, right? And you did mention that you had an intention before you pursued personal development. But do you mind me asking, Farah, at that time, 5 years ago, when you had decided to pursue other support, Was there a reason why you went down the route of personal development and having a trainer or teacher for personal growth as compared to professional support? For
Yes.
example, when it comes to mental health, a lot of times people like to talk to a therapist, a counselor. So was there a reason why you chose other supports as compared to like self-help supports as compared to professional support?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely address that. And I also want to say that I still have support
Yeah.
till today, right? Because it never ends, like I'm not like, oh, I got all the tools in the toolkit. I'm like just going to go through life, right? Because there's always a different level of evolution and discovery and learning. And so I still do have a few people in my life, actually. But yes, the very first sort of light under my bum, the fire under my bum was at the time I just quite frankly wanted to make more money because I felt that money was going to make everything better in my life. So I kind of like, and I was also in a position where I had to take care of my family financially. So there was a few responsibilities that I had an apartment to pay for. There was responsibilities that I had at a sort of like earlier age that kind of like lit a fire in my bum. And I was like, but how do I do this? Like, how does one actually do this? Because I'm like looking at this at the time. I was an event coordinator. I worked for a university. I'm like, how does this work? Like, it's going to take me 10 years before I can hopefully make, double my income. And so it's like, there's got to be a different way. And I was also finding myself in life really being flat. Like it was just flat. Like I was just kind of, being like, I was just like going through the circles of life. It was just like, and I was looking at other people, like, people that I was inspired by living these lives. I'm like, how does someone get there? And so that really was the beginning of my journey, was really wanting to understand myself. First was wanting to make money and not have a boring life. Okay. Because given the circumstances that I had. And then it started to develop into really wanting to understand myself more, because I started to understand how much I diminished myself, how much I shut myself down, how much, no matter how many people would tell me, wow, Farah, you're so amazing, you're so kind, you're so intelligent, you're so whatever, it would be so hard for me to receive that. I just could not. I'm like, what are they talking about? So I had a complete disconnect from myself. I had so much judgment with the mistakes I had done in the past, the people that I had hurt, the people that had hurt me, like the things that I would have considered unfair in life, right? All of those things were just weighing on me and preventing me from really creating my life, to really seeing that anything else was possible. It was just not possible for me. And so it kind of transcended into like really understanding how shitty I am with myself. And there's no way I'm gonna, like, if I'm shitty with myself, there's no way I'm gonna get anywhere. There's no way I'm gonna, like, or I will, but it will be really hard. Like I'm gonna like work 30-hour days, or like 30, sorry, I meant to say 13, but sometimes it feels like 30 hours. But, so it was like, I was like, I want to be a mom. I just had things that I had fantasized. And I just really wanted to stop being mean to myself and start to love myself and start to be my best friend, and to have my own back. And when I started to have that, it was when I really got for myself, like, wow, like miracles are possible. Transformation is possible. And life is actually such an incredible gift. And we don't really see that when we're in the muck, in the negative information in our field,
Beautiful. What a journey it has been. So now that and again, we all, you at least, we constantly are setting ourselves up for success in a way, whatever success means to you. You still have those trainers, those coaches, those mentors, people that inspire you. So after all this time of investing in yourself and being open to growth and to create a life with your dreams, what are, Farah, some ways you could recommend, some practices you would recommend that everyday normal people can adapt in their routine to set themselves up for success as well?
Beautiful. Yes, absolutely. I mean, you started off the conversation with the most powerful thing, okay, which is your breath. Really, like your breath is everything. When you start to tune into your breath, you will find, because ultimately, biologically, okay, our nervous systems for most people on this planet is shot. It's shot because we go through experiences, and most of us live in the amygdala section of our brain, which is the fight or flight. Okay. And this is connected to your nervous system. And this is what has you react to life versus create your life. So breath work, meditation, spending time in nature, really prioritizing these self-care routines. I think a lot of us in the West and even in the East, self-care looks like, oh, I'm going to go get a massage, or I'm going to go get my nails done, or I'm just going to go on vacation. Those are beautiful, okay? Very external, but they're not going to really take care of your nervous system. And your nervous system, once you start to take care of your nervous system and really start to come away from the amygdala brain, this is when you have access to new possibilities, new ways of thinking, new ways of behavior, new actions. And the only way you can change your life is if you start to get into new ways of thinking, new ways of behavior, and new actions in your life. But you don't get access to that when you're reacting, because your reaction is just going to go to the old. You're always going to want to act from this old place. Okay. So I absolutely will recommend that a really amazing app right now is called Insight Timer. And they've got a number of amazing meditation and breath work courses, or, short sort of intervals. And I recommend, if you can spend 30 minutes a day, put in a 10-minute meditation. A woman that I love, her name is Sarah Blondin on Insight Timer. She's incredible, super soft and beautiful and sensual and intimate, but really gives you the space to just explore the emotions and the things that we're carrying that we don't necessarily know that we're carrying, because we're, again, reacting. And, put in a 10, 12-minute meditation, put in a 10, 12-minute breath work for yourself through this app, and then go into some journaling. Journaling is really good. It's just like a free flow. And this is really intimate with you, because then you can just give yourself the space to be like, I hate A, B, and C, right? You can give yourself the space for your humanity, because all of this spiritual work doesn't mean that you become this kumbaya, like, I'm not fazed by anything. Yes, maybe eventually you will, but step one is to acknowledge where you are at right now. And sometimes it looks like writing a letter that is angry. Sometimes it looks like expressing yourself in a container where it's safe to just be like, hey, Anshul, I'm really pissed that my mom did this. I just need you to hear me. Mm-hmm. Can you just hear me? And it's not about fixing anything. It's just, you just have a place to vomit what's there. Mm-hmm. And then allow yourself, and this, once you release this, your nervous system has a little bit of space to just be like, okay, now I'm going to go meditate. I'm going to do some breath work. I'm going to find myself back in neutral and see what it is that I'm learning from this situation. But only when you come to neutral. And this only happens when you vomit what's there in a healthy and safe way. So you're not going to your mom and being like, stop asking me how I am all the time because I'm fine. You don't have to call me 5 times a day. You're not going to your mom. You're going to a safe container. Okay. Mm-hmm. So these are some really simple techniques, but profound. A lot of us don't do them because they just are so simple. but it's really inside of the simplicity that you will find ease in your life. Life is not easy, but it is simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. So just start to to put into your life these simple things to provide ease. This is how you get to the ease part of your life. I'm not saying you're not going to go through difficult things. I'm not saying that you're not going to go through heartbreak, pain. No, you're just going to have a little bit more space with yourself to have your power, to understand what's going on, to connect at a soul level, to understand in a different way what's going on. Okay. So I would say absolutely these practices are my go-to. This is the reason that I'm the way that I am.
It's amazing.
For the most part, yeah.
And what I love is how simple they are. You know, we're all looking to feel good, to live a simple, happy life. But honestly, I think sometimes we complicate things for ourselves by thinking, oh, we need to like go to that retreat center because that's where I'm going to feel great, or I need to attend that seminar. Yes. But if you've been constantly investing in yourself, I think it's time to put those simple practices in your daily routine. Yeah. And
our life is also really quickly, you want to look at your life. Life is filled with complexity, filled with it. Okay. Like complexity of like making this much money, making people proud, looking good, the new iPhone that's coming out, which is more complex, but it's supposed to simplify your life. And then there's, it's just like, oh my God, the new car, the new vacation spot, the new form of spiritual teaching, the new retreat. And then you're like, okay, I have to make up this much money to go. Guys, no, I mean, I've done it all. And it was beautiful. And it just came right back to, I went through this whole hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, everybody, to come back to, whoa, hold on. It's really simple. It's about the simplicity. It's not about the complexity. And the more complex it is, the more complex my life is, the more complex my brain is, the more I'm like, ugh, right? So if you can find these tools with yourself, without the coach, and this is something that I preach a lot, but you will need the support at the beginning, the coach, all these things, but it's up to you to build that intimate relationship with yourself. And this has to be your commitment for everything that you do.
How beautiful is that? I love it. Okay, Farah, so what we're going to do now is a rapid fire round. Okay, I'm going to ask you some questions, and whatever first few words come to your mind, just share it. Okay, it's a great way we can get to know you better.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, awesome. In 3 words, what does empowerment mean to you?
Okay, 3 words. Power, peace, and effortless.
Beautiful. Okay, so what are 3 things that you would do when you're not having a good day?
Oh my gosh. Usually cry. It's my go-to. So cry, meditate, and call a friend.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. What is a movie that you choose to watch, or perhaps a song that you can listen to again when you're just not having a good day, and something that would change that energy around?
This question. So I'm gonna butcher her last name, but her name is Lauren Diego, and there's a song called Look Up Child. It has been my savior in times where I felt so distraught, alone, confused, in pain, tired, lost. And the words are so powerful. It really helps me surrender to a higher, to God, really. And so, and it's right away empowerment for me. So yes.
I love it. Okay, what would you say to a friend who calls you or reaches out to you, maybe through email, through any kind of social media platform, and is communicating with you that they're not doing well, and perhaps they're sharing with you why? What is the one thing you would say to them right off the bat?
Okay. Well, there's many things, but I think really the essence of it, of the conversation, is one, understanding what it is that they need. You know, what is it that they need? What did they need from that situation that they didn't get? And how can they provide it to themselves right now?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So what's the one form of expression that works for you?
Mm. The one form of expression that works for me, I mean, immediately what comes up is kindness, you know, and really with myself, right? Because when I'm kind with myself, that's when I really have access and the power to be kind with other people. But it really needs to be with myself first. And I would consider that an expression. Kindness is really an expression, you know, that is, you can use in so many different, it's an essence, it's a way of being. And it's been one of the most powerful ones for me right now. Kindness and compassion. Yeah.
Beautiful. If you could have a superpower, Farah, what would it be?
If I could have a superpower, oh my God, it would probably, like, this is, my girlfriends make fun of me all the time because they're like, you're such a Miss World pageant, like world peace, you know, this is my answer all the time. But I think it would just be the power to deeply embody God's love in a way where the whole planet gets connected to that. You know, and this is really my work right now, is like really embodying love, you know, unconditionally, compassionately for myself, so that I am now the space for people to have that without a conversation, because just inside of who I'm being, you know, and I feel like this is a superpower that I'm developing. But if we could fast forward it a little bit, I would.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I wouldn't mind that, you know. I'd be
That's so
into it.
cute. Okay,
Yeah.
so who is the one person you like to acknowledge for being there, perhaps a rock for you?
Oh my God, it's gonna make me cry immediately. Oof, you got me there. I think like immediately, I mean, there's so many people, right? Like my mom, I've had master teachers, like the most incredible people come into my life. But I would say the person that I'd like to acknowledge the most is my ex. Yeah, we were together for 3 years, and this is really where I started to really understand. She brought spirituality into my life in a way that is so, like, it's complex, but also in a way that was really heart opening for me, in a way that had me surrender to myself and to love. And it was my first experience of really being in love and vulnerable with somebody, which, you know, since the completion of our relationship, now it has invoked really me finding this with myself, you know. So it's really, it's been such a gift, the 3 years and even after, and that's, you know, absolutely one person that I have to acknowledge, like that I will acknowledge for the rest of my life, for sure.
That gave me goosebumps. I felt that. I felt that. Thank you for sharing that, Farah. Okay, so we're coming to an end of this episode today, but as we wrap up, a question I always love to ask our speakers is, if you had a mic and the entire world can listen to you, what is the one sentence you'd share with them?
No pressure. This is kind of like what I wanted to do with the God's love thing. So I think it would be something around what you see and think and hear is not necessarily the truth. And and to find truth in your connection with God. And that's it, whatever that looks like. And sometimes you're going to tumble and you're going to fall and you're going to think you're listening to God. And maybe you're not necessarily, you're maybe listening to the ego or the mind. But this is the journey that is really worth your lifetime on this planet. So really trust that and know that you are so loved unconditionally. Unconditionally, no matter what happens, no matter who betrays you, no matter who steals from you, no matter who blames you, no matter what you lose, no matter how much heartbreak, no matter it all, when you find this love and your connection and your partnership with God, this is everything, and you can trust that.
I love that, Farah. Thank you for sharing that.
My
all right.
pleasure.
Where can people find you if they want to further this discussion with you, or perhaps learn about the services you offer?
Yes, beautiful. So I am currently working specifically with women with Tao practices and really embodying the feminine. This has been my calling for the last 5 years. So you can reach me on Instagram, and my Instagram name is at Rodriguez Farah. Maybe we can put it in the description, at Rodriguez Farah. It's my Instagram name. And then also send me an email, guys. If there's any way, and this is man or woman, if there's something that you are touched by, are moved by, would like to learn more about, I'm such a great resource, truly. Please email me at rodriguezfarah@gmail.com. And I'm so happy to serve you. But specifically for women that are looking to dive into this, what is the divine feminine, this conversation of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and what does it mean to embody that? And if you're looking to understand yourself and your intuition and your internal guidance and your sensuality and your sexuality, your spirituality, your healing as women, this is really a strong calling right now. Please reach out to me.
Beautiful. Farah, do you know what our logo stands for?
I do.
Tell us, please share with everybody.
It says reach out together.
Yes, it is.
In sign language.
Beautiful. Yes, you're right. So in sign language, this is basically two fists put together, and the instructor or the person would go around in circle. And this symbolizes together. And our vision at Reach Out Together is to heal the world together, community by community, conversation by conversation, just like we did here today, Farah. And I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you for coming out today, for sharing with everybody, and for opening up space for people to feel what they're feeling and to welcome them reaching out to you. Like, you're absolutely incredible. I've said this before, I'll keep saying it.
We both are
very, very excited for what the future holds for you, girl. Like, this is just the beginning. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up?
No, I love you. Thank you. It is such a great honor. We truly are in this together. We are one big family from the same consciousness, going through our own realities of life, but we are in this together. So thank you for your work. Thank you for the awareness. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your relentless stand for every person on this planet. Like, you're so remarkable. Like, I love you so much. You inspire me all the time. And thank you to the team, to your entire team at Reach Out Together. I know they all make you look good, so you shine at the front for sure. But I know there's all these little minions in the back putting all the little final touches. And I'm so grateful to each one of you. God bless each one of you. This is incredible. So thank you. Love you.
Thanks so much, Farah. To all the team behind the scenes, I want you to know that we really appreciate your relentless effort. You are mental health advocates. You are the next generation of leaders, and you are actively contributing in breaking cultural stigma and encouraging people to pursue help, whether that's professional help or self-help. So thank you. Let's continue to reach out together for better mental health?